What's up, the squad? Back with another video. As y'all see in the title, it's going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. So, thing with this, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what makes people think that this is something that's like. I guess they think that this is something that's just okay, or like they think that something is gonna happen when it comes down to Karmelo. I explained to y'all in my last video. I'm pretty sure it was my last video, or maybe the video before that. Now, I explained to y'all that I've talked to, a couple, family members. Obviously, you have some family members that understand, regardless of him doing this, you face those consequences. I do have other family members that truly, I definitely saying that he will get out, saying that he's got this appeal. The judge was wrong. The jury, they had an all-white jury, as they continue to say, and that Karmelo will be out. I don't know what makes people think. First of all, I'm gonna say this. I obviously don't know what people think, of him getting out, but I also don't understand on why people are even thinking that way in general. He took a life. He took a life at a high school track meet. And he knew exactly what he was doing at the end of the day. And for you to sit there and think that this is something that's okay, that this is something that's okay, is truly sickening. I definitely say that. You got a post by New York Post that Carmelo Anthony demands new judge, new trial and appeal of conviction of, unaliving Austin Metcalf. We've all been seeing that, obviously, and I don't think it's going to work. You have a post by Sarah Fields. This post, was put out yesterday. Sarah Fields wrote, I was up half the night reading 193 pages of the motion for a new trial filed by Carmelo's new legal team. I'm incredibly unimpressed, and if they think these are strong grounds for a new trial, I have a piece of beachfront property to sell them. The majority of the motion complains about the restrictions surrounding the trial itself. They gripe about there not being an overflow room and the fact that many people couldn't attend. Most affidavits were submitted by random proclaimed journalists and activists who traveled in from out of state, only to complain that they couldn't get into the courtroom. All right. What? Okay, so this is my thing. They didn't took it all the way to where they feel like, and this is where a lot of, I feel like the race issue comes in with, is when, they try to have this argument of the whole race thing of all because I'm black or all because I'm supporting Carmelo Anthony. What? Things are just like, I truly, it's like it's always a problem. It's always a problem. And it truly just goes to show you how sickening people are. So I recognize several of the names. These were people who were not even covering the case from the beginning. Exactly. Some of them weren't even there every day, or when they were, they didn't arrive until 5 or 6 a.m. If you understood the day-to-day process of getting into the courtroom, you knew it was every person for themselves. You couldn't rely. And the thing is, Sarah Fields put that. If y'all go read from day one and stuff like that, she specifically put of how everybody, where people were sitting, how things would go. She specifically put that. So, and that's why I say people need to go give her a follow, because I'm telling y'all, when it comes down to it, she got receipts for it. I definitely can give her that. Said you couldn't rely on the sheriff to hold your place in line. If you wanted it badly enough, you could get in. I'm living proof of that. I was in the courtroom every single day because I arrived at 3 a.m. and wasn't willing to give up my place in line. You had an opportunity. You just had to work for it to be one of the 27 members of the public allowed inside. They were also complained about seating and supposed lack of transparency regarding public access. If anything, Carmelo supporters had opportunities than anyone. Had more opportunities than anyone other than the families of Karmelo and Austin. Inside the courtroom were Austin's family, Carmelo's family, myself, members of the media, a few Austin friends, and the rest were overwhelmingly Carmelo Anthony supporters. I don't want to hear that they couldn't get inside. One affidavit complained that the person was removed because they were hanging around the jury pool and they were told they could take the jury. I told you about that day that happened to Carmelo Anthony supporters called me a liar. Another complained about being removed for not wearing appropriate clothing. Man, like this is, and one thing about it, seeing the videos outside the courtroom and like seeing you obviously can see like how people carried themselves. You can definitely tell like how people carried themselves. Not even trying to like make fun of nobody, but like it's definitely wild of them even doing that. You know, the way that they're carrying themselves, the things they're doing. I'm telling y'all, it's wild. Another major complaint centers on Mike Howard mentioning that Karmelo was a member of a chess club after there had been an agreement not to introduce character evidence unrelated to what happened under the tent that day. According to the motion, Bill Wursky considered that a breach of the agreement and planned to bring up Karmelo's prior bad behavior during cross-examination. They claimed this is why Karmelo ultimately chose not to testify. Well, Mike Howard, that sounds like your mistake for bringing up the chess club. Sounds like Karmelo should have been raised better. And truly, I've been telling y'all that. Truly. From the get-go. Got it right here. Says, sounds like a whole lot of boohooing. Not a legal basis for retrying this case. Pathetic excuse for a motion for a new trial. I was already convinced this case wasn't getting a new trial after reading all 193 pages. Maybe more convinced. And one thing about it, I definitely can agree with what she said, within it. Like I said, it's definitely crazy of them even being that way and going that way. Tell you that much. Got it right here. It says Karmelo Anthony's trial attorney Mike Howard has signed in the affidavit outlining his understanding of pretrial agreement between him and the prosecution regarding trial ground rules. The agreement included stipulations that the defense would not cross-examine the victim, Austin Metcalf's prior bad actions. In exchange, Karmelo would testify on his behalf, and supposedly prosecutors would not present over 175 prior bad accidents of Karmelo. Anthony's new legal team is challenging, the setup, arguing that Anthony did not give knowing or informed a waiver of his right to testify at all. My thing is, what's crazy that I can't stand, and this is, I feel like I've heard this so many times. Why is so many people looking at the simple fact, because my dad has said the same thing too. My dad literally told me, and it threw me off because I feel like after obviously seeing this and stuff like that, it kind of threw me off because I feel like it's just crazy of just hearing a person say it like in person, of literally saying, and Austin and his brother were bullies. I feel like that's definitely bogus because the question I continue to ask a lot of people, imagine if your son or daughter was Austin Metcalf and another individual that you don't even know was Karmelo Anthony, and that Karmelo Anthony did that to your child. How would you truly feel? Would you still like, you know what? I'm going to just assume and go with, okay, yeah, my daughter or my son, yeah, they were bullied. They literally had that right there. From my understanding and what Hunter Metcalf said, he was sitting down. If you want to call Hunter Metcalf bully, you might as well call everybody that was sitting there. That was sitting there telling Karmelo to leave bullies. Even his friend. You might as well say all of that. They was all bullies. I feel like, me personally, if y'all really want to get down and be real with it, there was one bully there, and that bully was named Karmelo Anthony. His name Karmelo Anthony. That's it. Karmelo Anthony. He's the one that took that knife and did what he did. People got to realize that. You have it right here from this individual, Docket Diva. Just wait till y'all hear this. I'm reading the motion for new trial for Karmelo Anthony, and I could cry. There's an affidavit written by his former lawyer, Mike Howard. Whatever y'all thought happened ain't nowhere near what really took place during that trial. And she says, my God. I want to explain it, but I need a minute. Sarah Fields commented, said, I attended that trial. Over 20 witnesses and a video all confirmed that Karmelo is unaliver. Can't say the other word. And what Mike Howard put in his affidavit has nothing to do with Karmelo's actions. Cry harder. And I definitely can agree with that. You have this video about Dr. Diva. She says she's the clock doesn't stop just because a motion is pending. Saying Karmelo Anthony's new trial motion is sitting on a 75-day timer, and that timer keeps running whether or not Man, I'll just play the video so y'all can.
Starting point is June the 9th. June the 9th, Karmelo received a guilty verdict and sentencing, okay? Now, when that happened, 3 clocks started tick-tocking off this one date, June the 9th. You had to file a notice of appeal within 30 days. You had to file a motion for new trial within 30 days. Now, if you file a motion for new trial within 30 days, a judge has 75 days to rule on a motion for new trials from the actual sentencing date, which was June 9th. Again, June 9th. Okay. So the file notice of appeal, that was done on June the 10th. His previous lawyer filed a motion of appeal essentially less than 24 hours on June 10th, the very next day. The motion for new trial came in on the 28th day of the 30-day deadline. So both of these deadlines were met. But check this out. The case is essentially on a pause because no judge is over it at the moment. The 75 days still tick-tocking. This doesn't stop. So let's go ahead and say we on day 30 because it's the 8th tomorrow night. Let's go ahead and round it up to the 30th. To the 30 days. Now we have 45 days to make a rule on this new trial. So it can be granted.
I'm sorry y'all have to hear that. I'm not gonna lie, this individual moron. I don't know how y'all feel about this, but you literally had a person actually comment. She actually deleted one of the comments. But basically said that he's not getting out. He's not getting out. And that people need to stop saying and doing what they're doing. Truly just crazy. I literally seen it earlier, and it was actually I know it has nothing to do with race, but it was literally a black dude like letting her know, like, regardless, like it's over with. Like, he has to face those consequences. He truly has to. He has to. But I believe she deleted the comment. You got it right here. It says, this is Mike Howard, Karmelo Anthony's lawyer, claiming to be easygoing, not aggressive lawyer. Says they say no wonder why Karmelo lost. This guy didn't even try. They said this guy isn't even trying. Somebody said Karmelo lost because he's guilty of the charge. The facts are the facts. Take some accountability. Always blaming others. And that's truly exactly how I feel. And got most of the likes, within that comment. Truly.
So what kind of lawyer do you want? Do you want an aggressive junkyard dog who's going to fight for you hard? Or do you want somebody who has a reputation as, easy to get along with? The answer might surprise you. While of course it's important to have somebody who fights for your rights and stands up for you, if they are that aggressive junkyard dog, the risk can be that they end up being obnoxious or offensive to judges, to prosecutors, and even to juries if your case goes to trial. And so having somebody who knows how to walk that balance, who knows how to stand up for your rights and fight for you, but knows how to do it at the right time and how to do it, that walk softly, carry a big stick mentality, that they have a good reputation. That makes all the difference in the world, in my opinion. I have cultivated a reputation at the courthouses in which I work as somebody who fights for their clients. And if you go to trial, I'm going to give you a hard fought trial. But who's easy to work with, easy to get along with, and reasonable. That ends up benefiting my clients. It's not something where I'm intentionally, being something I'm not in order to get prosecutors to open up and talk to me. But my reputation as easy to work with ends up benefiting my clients.
So I'm going to be 100 with y'all. I feel like regardless, like just being real with y'all, and I'm going to say this, and I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings when I do say this. I'm going to hurt a lot of the Karmelo Anthony supporters' feelings when I say this. But it's only so much you can do when somebody did something like this. Like, I'm not even going to lie. Like, it's only so much when you literally have all the evidence. You saying that it's not alleged. I did it. Your fingerprints on the knife. You literally then did it. You on camera. You didn't literally say it. See what's gonna happen. You touch me. When you got all of that, I mean, come on now. Make it make sense. Like, y'all gotta make stuff make sense. And I feel like a lot of people, they ain't doing that at all. You got it right here. Obviously, Sarah Field said, that she attended that trial, and, over 20 witnesses and a video all confirmed, about that. And I truly agree. It's all, like I said, it's only so much you can do. Jason, you got Jason Whitlock that definitely spoke some facts within his video. Says Americans are not in the uproar over Karmelo Anthony verdict, but there are a lot of black people that truly are. Check it out.
There's no controversy among Asians, white people, and Hispanics about what happened to Karmelo Anthony. There's no controversy. White America isn't in an uproar. Asian America isn't in an uproar. Hispanic America isn't in an uproar. Most of black America, I would say, not in an uproar. But this loud, amplified minority of black people, and black people baited into. And look, it's a significant segment, and it's really significant because most of the black people who think exactly what I think, they're afraid to say it and won't say it and will pretend like they side with the other side. So your silence makes you an ally to the idiots and the people with reprobate minds, because that is what we're talking about. When you listen to Karmelo's parents, that's a reprobate mind talking. Believe Karmelo printed on the front of their shirts. This man won't even talk for himself. He had a chance to take the witness stand and said nothing.
So, and I'm a be real. Me personally, y'all know, I'm gonna speak out on it. That's what I'm gonna continue to do, is speak out on it, because I feel like it's definitely necessary. You have way too many people out here that thinks he's going to get out. You have way too many people out here that think that things are gonna go well, and they truly not. They're truly not. And we all see that. Within his parents, I know, I truly, I'm not gonna say that I hate it for him, but because he put himself in this position. But all of them are wrong. The advocates for Karmelo Anthony supporters, his family, his parents, himself, they're all wrong for the things they've done. I'm not even gonna lie, but y'all know me. I'm gonna speak on it. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments down below. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Catch y'all next one.